吃了不少。
我姥姥对我是最重要的，就算当初我爸他们这边怎么反对我，但是我姥姥这边他们是自始至终也没有放弃过我，所以我觉得我姥姥对我实在太重要。
那现在的那个没跟着他，选择他喜欢的路，他走这个，想干的事情干一样转一样，越来越好。我们也来，心里也挺高兴的，挺好的。
然后当时我本来是原定的计划是退役1年，我第2年就 TI6我会继续打的，是这样一个考虑。然后在今年年初，就是我休息完半年之后，也是在一次比赛上 DSC 的时候看到 CDC 这个新队，当时我也是接到他们队的邀请，本来打算过去帮他们的。当时也是因为他们队本来没比赛，但是最后没比走了，所以最后我就选择了home 这边，也是基本上都是新人，然后就过来继续选择带新队，因为感觉我们这个圈子的那个新鲜血液实在是太少了。但是今年我带他们去了，这个第一步已经是实现了，凝聚力也非常重要。其实对于每一个 team 团队来说的话，团队经济、凝聚力都很重要，不管是新队老队。所以人一定要在把状态调整到最好的前提是你要亢奋起来。所以一般我们赛前我们都会，比如拍2下掌，加油！
我对他有很大的这个盼望，希望他这回拿到冠军。
Home, hoping that the emotions of the captain ROTK carry them through to a championship that they haven't yet achieved at the International. Of course, the International 1 grand finalists. Their opponents today will be Vici Gaming in the bottom half, and of course, it's not just the star players, it's also about the supports, Fire and Fenrir.
就是虽然 VG 组队的时候我还不在嘛，但是我是听说，当时 VG 是3顾茅庐，然后才请到 FY 出来。
当时也是战争期，就让我非要来威胁。我也不知道当时他是怎么想，因为我Dota 2一盘都没玩过，所以说可能是种缘分吧。
他第一次出国就拿到了 ESL 的世界冠军，然后第一次去打 TI 就已经是拿到了亚军，这可能是很多职业选手就打了好多年都没有能够达到的高度。我觉得说他是去年的最佳新人毫不为过，但是我觉得这也是整个团队一起付出的结果。这支 VG 现在最强的，首先就是求胜心吧，我觉得这点我觉得比任何其他的队都要强烈。这 Dota 虽然是个5个人的游戏，但是就是说2个酱油之间，就是说可能平时的联系是更紧密一点。然后芬尼尔和 FY， 首先个人能力都非常强，可以说这2个人是相辅相成的。没有芬尼尔 ，FY 也不是那个 FY， 没有 FY 芬尼尔没有现在的打得那么好。
我觉得我芬尼尔应该是最默契的一个辅助了，都是有失误也不会去提。然后我打得不好的时候，他会鼓励我；然后他打得不好的时候，我会鼓励他。
这几年 FY 成长了很多，然后又过了1年，他从队员现在变成了队长，然后我们也一起拿了不少冠军。我非常感谢他在这1年就陪伴我们一起成长。
游戏当中，我觉得成长的最多的还是很多时候他能给大家一个依靠吧。
而 FY 对 VG 来说，就像是马尔蒂尼对 AC 米兰，或者说托蒂对罗马那样，他就是 VG 的象征性，VG 的招牌。
Vichy Gaming back at TI5, hoping to go one better this year with a superstar lineup that is definitely to be feared. They are entering the arena, ladies and gentlemen. Vichy Gaming and eHome. Lower bracket, round 4. The winners will place top 4 and move on to another stage where they'll play the winner of LGD Gaming or Virtus Pro. That game will be played tomorrow. Just a reminder, this is the last one of the day. But a friendly battle between Ice and Lanem, I think, there. He's a joker, isn't he, that Ice? And so as they get into their pods, we'll turn our attention to the game. I want to start with FY and Fenrir. Fantastic supports. Where are they in the scale of the history of Dota 2 and how great a partnership that is?
Well, I think that they would be in the level of Kuroki and Puppy, or I think me and Aki doesn't really count because I'm a carry, We're not a support duo. Maybe I can go that way. Try. Sorry, no pressure.
You only do that when you get older, right?
I'll carry my anti-mage.
Yeah, he's not bad. I think I win the most pubs with him when he plays anti-mage.
He's hating this right now because we're both ganging off on him now.
Yeah, that's a bit I love him a lot. I love him a lot. I think he's a great player, amazing guy. He's probably the best guy on the panel. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree. Yeah.
Very handsome as well.
I need some backup.
Whoa, let's not go too far.
No, but as you were asking, I think that they're just a really great support duo, and I think that some people might have questioned if FY actually deserved all the credit he got going into TI, because he's an amazing support, but you've heard like, oh, FY God, etc., etc. But here at TI, I think that, watching his Rubik, I think that you can't really question if he is as good as people think, because he's been performing really well, and I think that if not for him, Vichy would probably be out of the tournament by now. So, I think that they live up to the legacy or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that was also true during TI4. He played like a beast. Him and Zai were, commonly called the two best players. It's very hard to say a best player in a game like Dota, but he lives up to it, and at TI he performs at his very best.
Yeah, he seems to bring out his best. Winter, I want to turn to you, because this is a massive game for both teams, both obviously Chinese teams and Singaporean, of course, as well. But in the way that this is set up, because they know each other very well, is this going to be very difficult, having already played as well?
It's probably going to be difficult, to surprise anyone, but I feel like execution, and it's just focus on your own game. If you can actually execute and just play a very good pace, it will be really good for whoever who gets into their own rhythm.
I just think it's very interesting that ROTK, who was the captain. He was the captain last year as well, right? For Vichy Gaming?
Yeah, he was.
Quite fun that he's here back with eHome playing Vichy Gaming, and I think both him and Lanham probably thinks it's a lot fun. Lanham, who has played with Ice before, etc. So
it's got a lot of overlaps. And RO2K actually said at the end of last year he probably wasn't going to come back for TI5. He's going to do a little bit of coaching, help out some of the youngsters, and that's how he got into eHome originally. Was in January. He was just, I'm going to help these guys out, and then of course they lose a player, and suddenly they're like, well, I might as well play then. I'll give it a go. And here he is, top 6 at the international. Seb, I want to ask you about the Rubik pick, because surely these guys are not going to let him have that again.
Well, it's a very good hero for him to have, but I feel like you can't really afford to waste a ban first phase for Rubik. I think if he wants to get it, he will have it. Probably second phase ban, but I'm not even sure about that either. Maybe second phase ban, if anything. He might get it. They first phased it yesterday once, I think, but he might get it. But I don't think they're gonna focus on the Rubik.
Okay. You can be a very good Rubik player, but some drafts are just not that strong.
Depends how they're going to draft as well. They're going to see how it goes. I want to talk to you about pressure as well. You've played a ton of pressure games. TI3 springs to mind when you guys kind of came in off the back of a fantastic year. You'd been winning absolutely everything. How does that pressure ramp up? And how does it affect you then when you actually get to TI? There's so much expectation on you.
Well, I guess it's just like you can't... The thing is, the more you win, the greater the fall might be when you start losing, right? And that might have been kind of a secret problem in this tournament, that they did not expect that these matchups, these BO3s, would be as difficult as they were. And then they lost against eHome in the winner bracket final, and I think that they had quite I mean, they got back from there, but it still hit a very heavy blow. So I think that for us, I mean, at TI3, that was also lucky in a way. I mean, we were very strong, but you have to think about the fact that we didn't lose a game until the grand finals. And I usually say that we were not really nervous in TI until we actually played the grand finals. And like, the grand finals were not our best games in the tournament. It was by far not. And we, for the first time, we started making mistakes that we really didn't do before. So, yeah, you just can't let it get to you.
Okay.
eHome versus VG Gaming.
Here we go then. Game 1 draft, just 3 games away, or 3 matches away from winning the international. A winner in this game, or this series, takes you through to the top 4. We're into the draft right now. Loda, stick around and help us out with the draft.
I've been on vacation, so I don't want to take the pressure of like making good comments here.
You're going to draft.
Leshrak has been removed from the game. A bit surprising for some, perhaps, but not for me, because I'm such an expert when it comes to the game.
Do you know, I've only been sat here for 4 days. Even I know that Leshrak goes out first. Come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, what to say about this game?
I think it's just very standard in this current, like, TI5. It's been standard that Bounty Hunters first ban every phase. That's very curious, because before TI5, that was not really the case. But it's so much about fighting now, and if you can get more out of every fight, even trading, you know, when you trade even with the opponent, you always get more gold. It's just such a huge benefit.
Yeah, I think that that hero is for sure very, very strong, and I think that since people don't really play him as offlane anymore compared to like this rotating support that is just putting a lot of pressure on the map. And the thing with Bounty Hunter is that even sometimes when he fails, you can always get back into the game with the track, and then it doesn't really matter. So I think that here he deserves a ban.
I think so. And he should probably never have been offlane in the first place, because it's so obvious, right, when you start moving.
I think so too, for sure. But most of all, I think it's the toss, like bounce with track. That is what does that hero, because it's like you think in the early game like, oh, we can push, then we don't really have any team fight, and then suddenly Bounty is like level 6 or level 7, and then he has this normal nuke that just does whatever 350 damage to all your heroes, and you're like, okay, that's our mech, time to back.
It's so insane. The bounce can do so much damage. You never really expected that from Bounty before as well. I mean, he was not an AoE damage dealer, but now he truly is. So the eHome actually removed Clockwork here, which I find interesting, but he has been a very successful hero here at the main stage. He has had a lot of good games for sure.
I really like the Winter Wyvern ban from Witcher Gaming, I have to say. Like, eHome is so scary with
against Secret?
Yeah, exactly. Like that Winter Wyvern Phoenix.